A very good evening, everybody. Friday night football signals the start of the weekend and the beginning of round 12 in the NPL New South Wales men's competition. Manley United hosting Spirit FC from Cromer Park. Well, Manly's first win since the opening day last weekend with a young side away from home against Sutherland was in quiet contrast to Spirit, who took the lead despite being down to 10 men at Belmore last weekend. Falling to a 2-1 loss from that position was disappointing, but they come here in fine form, having won a couple in their last 5 outings. Alex Molchanoff along with you from Cromer this evening. Delighted to be bringing you the coverage on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel, wherever you're watching from right around the world. Let's get to the team news. Just a little bit of it for both sides. Manley United making one change from that side that beat Sutherland down at Seymour Shore last weekend. They start this. In goal is number 1 Levi Kay, who started every game so far this season behind a back 4 that is the same as last weekend's. Number 2 Kieran Paul wears the captain's armband alongside number 3 Zach Spilagoy, number 19 Alan Aganovich and number 25 Rocco Pella. In front of them a midfield 4 as well. Number 29 Will Falder got his first senior goal at 18 years of age last weekend. A midfield 2 of number 4 Jesse Perez through the middle with number 6 Saxon Hillier. Number 7 Peter Keras, former Spirit man, starts off the left behind 39 Stefano Rossello and the returning number 14 Stefan Fischer. For Spirit, 2 changes and a new midfield. They start like this. In goal, number 1 Chris Marquez, a back 4 of number 8 Grant Cornwall, their captain. Number 3 Kyle Shaw, number 16 the returning Anse Parkmarsh and number 13 Simon Nicholas. Their midfield 3 anchored by number 20 Jared Lum again tonight. Number 6 Corey Kavanagh moving into midfield after slotting in at centre half last weekend, and Richie Darko alongside him wearing number 7. Number 11 Ollie Wigan and number 19 Jesse Michelle are Manley Moringa Juniors. They're up front alongside number 18 Zach Shanchi. And we are right on time for kickoff. Our referee Logan Jones gets us underway. Just the one previous meeting at this ground between these two since Spirit's reformation as the Gladesville Hornsby Association's representative club. And it was a good result for them too. A 2-0 win here with 2 first half goals. In a game that was played as the season was winding down in round 22. Kota Odakura and Mitch Davidson, the 2 scorers, neither of them have remained at the club for 2024. But there's a bit more scoring spark up front and it's a bit more youthful. We'll be sure to see some of that tonight. Richie Darko doesn't fall in that category any longer, but he's still as dangerous as ever, and he wins the first free kick at 27 years of age through midfield. He's been around this competition for almost a decade now. Richie, since he burst onto the scene as a 17-year-old for Sydney United 58. He's around a fair few clubs since then. The level of his performance has never been much of a question for so many of the coaches that he's played for. Certainly he's a favourite of David Perkovic. Picks him on his return to fitness tonight. Having said all that, he hasn't scored since last June against Blacktown City, so I'm sure he'd like to rectify that little drought. 10 months without a goal for someone of his quality in the league. Ante Backmarsh is back tonight, bringing some short-footedness and experience. The 32-year-old who's probably the best travelled footballer in the NPL New South Wales. As always, Perkovic has an interesting way of setting up his sides. You'll see Backmarsh stepping to midfield, very much in the Manchester City style of a John Stones, or those who enjoy their APL, which I'm sure many of you watching tonight do. Always interesting to see the way that Spirit sets up tactically, and United, I'm sure, will be aware of the threat they pose tonight. They're a team that like to play with the ball. Not always allowed to do that as much as they'd like to at this level. Certainly the way Manly have set up over the last few weekends, you'd be expecting Spirit to have more of the ball despite being away from home this evening. Wigan, who played his very junior football at Forest Kalani Football Club in the Manley Warringah Association, as well as BTH Raiders and Wakehurst. Around a couple of clubs. Jesse Michelle is up front. I mentioned him in the pre-game as well. Another former Forest Kalani junior. This is a ground both are very familiar with. They have an opportunity to get their name on the score sheet very, very early here as well. Conceded in a dangerous area with the dead ball abilities of Jared Lum over it. They've thrown numbers forward. Manly have thrown everyone back in defence. Philagoy got to the first ball, and then heading clear was young Rockapella. It's been a turnover for Patrick Svansvik. Talked about how many he had out last weekend at Sutherland. He's stuck in a similar situation tonight. One with a long throw this time. Not dealt with by Manley United, but the flag is up on the far side. The assistant Thomas Dale on that side, and Michelle thought he had a goal on his return to the Manley area. Cornwall goes more agricultural and direct. Here's Aganovic. Header only found young Stefano Rossello, who's become quite an integral part of Manly United's attack with all those injuries. No, Harry McCarthy's going to be out for an extended period. Had surgery on his shoulder. Will Fulder. Quite a game last weekend. Peter Keras is looking for his first goal for Manly United in the league, and Rossello fires over on the follow-up. Seem to remember Peter Keras having a very similar opportunity at this ground, wearing yellow and black last season. That one was saved by Kay. Tonight, Chris Marquez standing up to the one-on-one opportunity. And Manly United with a very good early chance to take the lead against the run of play. It's a little bit of a wake-up call for Spirit defensively. Sort of around the middle of the pack in terms of their defence. 19 goals conceded in their first 11 games. A couple of different appeals for free kicks to be blown either way there. Play on for now, and it's Will Fulder forward for Manly United. Pires won't mind it from distance. Sat up for him as well, and he struck it nicely. Certainly had Marquez scrambling away to his left. The hosts creating the better of the early opportunities. I think that's an outcome too many would have expected coming into Cromer Park tonight. There has been, since the move back to Friday nights, another good crowd in. Over enjoying food and beverage at the far post, as well as sitting up in the Lucas Neal stand. So it's not a bad seat in the house. We're at Manly's home grounds. It's interesting looking back at the history between these two teams and the fact that there's not much of it, despite being relatively near neighbours geographically. Part of that is because Manly United have owned life in this division since the early 2000s. Last relegated all the way back in 2000. With some fears that they might be in a bit of a scrap after only winning one of their first 10, but win against Sutherland has allayed some fears. Certainly the performance in the second half of that game. Plenty of reasons for encouragement for Patrick Svansvik. He hadn't had much to cheer about in the opening 2 months. When they had got close with Rockdale Illingdon in the cup, they were knocked out on penalties. Wonderful goal that night from Zach Svilagoy from inside his own half. Some defending to do here, the first Manly man. With the rest of his defence, it's taken short, and Wigan will crack from the outside of the area. Cornwell was onside, according to assistant Thomas Dale this time. And it's those second phases that Spirit are trying to catch Manly out from in their attacking set pieces. Crucial win by Jesse Keras, who's seeing more and more time in his preferred position of central midfield this season. Just a lot along the back line by Patrick Svansvik last year. Against his will for a lot of time. Certainly talking to him earlier in the season, he wanted to use Jesse through the centre of midfield, but injuries made that consistently difficult. Almost an ever-present, despite fracture in his hand a couple of weeks ago. We saw him miss a couple of games. Turned last week against Sutherland, and boy did they enjoy having him back. Corey Kavanagh's enjoying life back in the centre of the park after playing as a makeshift centre half last week. Pointing inside. With the long legs of Shanchi, but he was held up on the far side by Roccapella. Youngsters going head-to-head out on that far side tonight. Pella just 19 years of age, making his 5th Manley United start. Here's Rossello. Full-time challenge by Buckmarsh. Experience winning out over youth there. Darko settling Spirit for a moment. Looked a little bit frantic in the opening 10 minutes or so. Certainly more than they would have liked. This is where they like to be in their structure and to work the ball around quickly. From a park surface, which is since being relayed, one of the better ones in this competition of the artificial pitches that dominate this competition. Ilya with an erring touch. Shaw got a foot in and was looking to link up with Ollie Wigan. Even he didn't have the pace to catch that one that was played in behind. Nice piece of distribution from Levi Kay. Improvement in that area of his game in the last 12 months has been so notable. And amongst the best in the competition in an area that wasn't always his strongest. First came through in first grade. The Bulls Academy and returning to Manly. So spent some time with Sydney FC and their youth setup. See here again, Buckmarsh laying the ball off and trying to add an extra number to Spirit's midfield. Shaw's elected to bypass all of that and try and find Wigan. Ball's knocked down only as far as Darko, who really is having a telling influence early. Wigan's in behind his fullback and finishes it off. Returning to the venue where he played so much junior football, the area where he played so much junior football, it was only fitting that he got his goal. A coolly taken finish when he was played in behind, but for Manly there have to be questions about quite how he was allowed that much time and space. Nothing much Levi Kay could do. It was well slotted away. A cool finish once he'd made the run to get himself in position. And another strong start for Spirit FC at Cromer Park. They're quite enjoying their visits here. So a response needed. Manly trailed early last weekend to a Max Green goal for Sutherland. They managed to turn that one around. Spirit threw away a one-goal lead last weekend against Sydney Olympic. I hope we'll be hoping history repeats itself, but Spirit have the lessons of days past. They're not far gone days past to heed and learn from. Certainly they'll know the importance of this next 5 or 10 minutes. It really has quietened what was rather lively from the park crowd. That will excite David Perkovic perhaps as much as the goal. Fulda. Done nicely. Good vision to find Rossello, and a dangerous ball which spat across the face of Chris Marquez's goal. There was just no one in blue to knock it in. Keras retrieves before it travels out of play. His touch is too heavy going to the byline. It trickles over for a goal kick. A goal in the other game that's underway tonight. You can find that one between Sydney FC and Sydney United 58. Well, you found this one on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. Early goal there to Sydney United 58, who have been in quite some form themselves. After a slow start to the season, Shunta Nakamura's 6th goal of the year has given them a 1-0 lead. After their come from behind 3-2 victory in dramatic circumstances against Marconi last weekend at Adenza Park. Battle tonight between 11th and 12th in the competition, coming into it. Both looking to move themselves away from the relegation places as Fulda thought he was in behind. Just not quite timing his run. It's like this coming into the game with Sydney FC down. It's a result both sets of supporters watching this game will be happy about, considering they sit just a point behind them. Spirit both sitting just a point out of the relegation playoff spot, which is currently occupied by Sutherland. Tells you how important Manly's win last weekend was. Win tonight would put either 4 points clear and suddenly looking up at mid-table where they finished last season, rather than down at the chasing pack. Short's ball over the top. Schultz trying to reel it in. Gunovic away. Got to the ball first. It wasn't a particularly controlled ball forward, and a beautiful bit of skill from Hilliard, who's being wrestled by 2 or 3 Spirit players and was keen to get into some afters with Ollie Wiggin, the goal scorer. If there was any intent there other than to make sure Hilliard didn't continue. It was a performing act, really, wasn't it? He was knocking the ball up in the air, showing beautiful close control. To take their time, but have to turn the tempo at some stage in this match. Especially now they've trapped. For the neutrals at home watching this one, that was a good goal for Spirit to get early, and that will force Manly to come out of their shape a little bit. Kieran Paul is really having issues dealing with Ollie Wiggin down this near side. His pace is giving him problems. Headaches across Manly's backline becoming a little too numerous for Patrick Svansvik in these very early stages. No, they are looking to have a little joy with balls like that over the top. Goodness me, Chris Marquez didn't look at all sure about that, although it was going to take almost a miracle for Vischer to actually get there. His first goal in league football was not too dissimilar to that one. Pouncing on a mistake by a goalkeeper, Sydney Olympic goalkeeper at Belmore from memory, and a rare error from Richard Darko as he came to the near side. His head to the heavens. Not a mistake used to seeing a player like him making. Kieran Paul's forward down the right. Just slipped as he looked to turn around Darko. The experienced Spirit man just shadowed him out of play. Spirit in the ascendancy on the scoreboard and in terms of the pattern of the game so far. Just needing to be aware that Manly do have a group of opportunists around him. Make sure that they don't become complacent. Lovely curling ball over the top, which has given Shanshi a little bit of space in which to operate. Almost casual initially, but managing to win it back was Bakmaj, and he's weighted that ball beautifully. Darko off the post, still not clear for Manly. Cornwell showing why he spent so long at the back of Spirit's team instead of up the front. But Manly were very, very close to falling two down there inside 20 minutes. Manly just struggling to string passages of play together at the moment. Manly just got to be very, very careful. Again, Spirit just hesitating as the ball travelled back towards Chris Marquez. He's not had the most comfortable of nights, despite the fact his team have had the vast majority of the football. Long playing forward. Oh, and Shanshi showing his quick change of direction. Looking for Jesse Michel. He's looking lively up front. He's seen Ollie Wiggin get on the score sheet, and he wants to do similar. Nice touch forward from Aganovich, though. And Hillier showing off those quick feet of his. Keras with space to turn inside. Didn't spend long with Spirits, but goal against his old club sure would be tasty. Ball for Keras. For the first time tonight, Manly with a sustained possession of, well, spell of possession in their attacking half. Fulder. Keras. Oh, was making the run from deep. That was an ambitious one. Might give Spirit space to break into if they choose to go quickly. Not that that's often their want. Ollie Wiggins' direct running will get them going forward, though. How about that? Just stopping on a dime and breezing past Keras like he wasn't there. Not too many in the competition could do that. Kavanagh lining up. It was an audacious effort, but he thought to have a bosh anyway. Didn't quite catch it as he would have liked. Spirit after that. Some impressive opening 20 minutes. Just sitting off a little more than they were in the early stages. Perhaps expect that, although it is a gorgeous night for football tonight on the northern beaches. Temperatures just under 20 degrees, or about 18 at kickoff. Not a breath of wind. Clear, starry nights on the northern beaches of Sydney. Hosts are trying to get themselves back into this game, which Spirit lead thanks to an early goal from Ollie Wiggin. But they've got something to defend here. Keras. Well, that's exactly the shooting opportunity he's been looking for. Drifting in off the left on his right foot, which is his better one. He couldn't keep that strike down. Much better period of play from Manley United, who've looked at a different team in the last couple of weeks to what they have over the early parts of the season. In large part thanks to this young forward line. With the exception of Keras, who's no old head, still only 24, but he's very much the senior member of the attacking foursome, if you like, tonight, the two strikers and the two wingers. Alongside him, Stefan Vischer. 2 senior goals, both scored last season. 19. Stefano Rossello, 2 goals in senior football, both scored this season. 19. And Will Fulder, who got his first senior goal just last weekend against Sutherland. 18. Harry McCarthy out for some time with his shoulder injury. And Coops recovering from another hamstring. Miguel Baltha has something similar. Rossello! Almost pulled off a wonder strike. I think it took a touch of Ante Bakmash on the way through, but that completely wrong-footed Markesh, who was rooted to the spot and had the ball angled another couple of inches inside that right-hand post. It might just be 1-1. The pendulum in this game, though, has well and truly swung in the host's favour. Can they find a goal to show for it? Keras to take. It's a good one towards Perez, who got up. Just didn't make the contact he was looking for. It was a totally free header for Jesse Perez. Action was all right, the timing was all off. Peter Keras might be putting in his best performance so far in a Manley United shirt. Rossello certainly making a nomination in the early stages that this might be his as well. Keras was searching for Vischer, who's good in the air. Perez twisting past Darko. Ball is thumped away by Ante Bakmash. Hasn't been able to add that extra number to midfield in the last 5 minutes or so because Spirit have been under the cosh. But that's a poor ball from Aganovic. Can he make the recovering tackle? The recovering interception it ends up being. This ball out from Levi Kay again. To Kieran Paul. Bakmash across in cover, but it's a Manley United throw, and he's got to be very careful down there. Spirit centre half, who was keen to get his hands on the football, even though he knew it wasn't his. Vischer just finding his way back into this game after making his way back into the side this week. Such has been the Manley injury toll that even the youngsters have found themselves on the sideline with little niggles and knocks. Should be said, I mentioned Spirit's good record here. Manley United did get a win against them last season, a 3-1 victory away at Christie Park. Spirit did start last season slowly. I'm sure Perkovic would point to a number of injuries he had to deal with in the first couple of months. Not least Grant Cornwell's, although this was for the entirety of the season with that ACL injury. Pella stepping onto this one. Keras again. Dangerous down the left-hand side in the opening 25 minutes or so. Chance to cross, not a bad one, and Vischer had got the wrong side of Bakmash, who timed his challenge beautifully. Still danger not clear for Spirit though. Keras having a second bite, and big appeals for handball right in front of the referee, who points to the spot. Shanchi it was, being diligent in his defensive duties, but sticking an arm up in the air to block the football, and his protests were half-hearted. He knew what he'd done. And Keras has been peppering the Spirit penalty area with crosses in the opening stages of this game, is going to have the opportunity to convert from the spot. He has not scored a league goal for Manley United yet. Jared Lum trying to delay proceedings for as long as possible. So his efforts, much like Shanchi's protests, were rather half-hearted. Spirit put under pressure, and now facing a penalty kick. Chris Marquez has a pretty good record from these, but Keras will have taken them against him in training. Who will that advantage? Keras His first goal for Manley United in league football brings them level against his old club. It's been hard to take your eyes off this one in the early stages. Thoroughly engaging football, and they're all square at 1-1. Crowd tonight have been riding with their team. Not that that's an unusual thing to say, but the noise that you're hearing through Vec's microphone tonight has very much been in tandem with how the home side have been playing. It has been that sort of match, but that has changed a couple of times in the opening half hour. All we're set for another good one. Don't worry about that. Just settle in front of the TV set. Team is pulling too far away in this one. And they have sorted out the early defensive difficulties and now are pressing forward themselves. Stefan Fischer, the two youngsters, he and Shaw, going head to head at the back. Shaw wins out this time. He, of course, trying to recover after conceding the late penalty, which Rio Donovan would convert to win the game for Sydney Olympic last weekend. It's been a rare error for him in a terrific start to his first grade career. Scouted by Perkovic and then brought up to Sydney. It's been a terrific addition to their first grade side. Keras up to the north of Sydney, I should say. Nice touch from Rossello. He and Fulder like licking. This is much better for Manley United than we've seen from them really since that opening day victory against St George. Keras getting onto his right, big deflection, and Peter Keras, after waiting 12 games for a goal, has got 2 in 3 minutes. What a night he's having, and the inquest begins in the Spirit defence, who have gone to pieces in a period of 5 minutes. Player who was so highly touted as a junior, is an Australian under-17 international. Spent a couple of years in the A-League, 5 appearances with the Central Coast Mariners under Paul Ocon. And he's been bouncing from club to club as he finally found his home. Certainly the Cromer Park faithful are embracing him wholeheartedly this evening. And he is full of fire and running and trouble for the Spirit defence. I mentioned a little bit earlier in the broadcast the responsibility was going to fall on him tonight. Alongside such a young front line, hasn't he grasped it? Exactly what Patrick Zwanswijk would have been looking for. He's taken this game by the scruff of the neck. And now Rossello is playing off the back of him, and Fischer's getting involved. Rossello taking it to the byline. He was searching for Fulda. He was waiting at the back post, but well claimed by Marquez. It's really been the coolest head amongst those at the back. David Perkovic was extremely animated after that second goal went in. Didn't look particularly impressed by the body language of his players in the back line. And you wouldn't know it now, but they really were. The team very much in the ascendancy in the opening 15 minutes or so. Manley have turned this game on its head in a matter of moments. So Spirit will go back to their strength. It's patient build-up play, structure, very clear plan about what they're trying to do as they chase this game. To play the majority of last weekend with 10 players after the red card to Jared McKinley. That advantage in chasing this one is that they've all 11. Manley United's defensive record this season is not the best. Lovely touch. Moving forward, Chachi and Darko looking to play it in behind. Still there's a recovering challenge to be made, which Aganovic does very nicely. Now Manley looking to get at Spirit in transition. Different look being thrown. Beautiful ball from Keras. Nice touch for Hillier. This is stunning stuff. And Rossello forces a save from Marquez. Oh, about the build-up there from Manley United. It's been a while since we've seen this at Cromer. Well, Svilagoy is full of goal-scoring confidence after his goal in the Cup against Rockdale a couple of weeks ago, where he scored from inside his own half. That wasn't quite as far out, but it certainly wasn't as close to the purity of the strike he produced that night. Bakmash for the first time, really since Spirit took the lead, able to step into midfield and try and dictate things a little bit more. All in the foot race with Michel. He had a hefty head start, but yeah, Spirit strikers' footsteps thundering behind him, so Alexi just knock it out of play. That's a really sloppy throw in from Lum. He didn't manage to recover either. Uncharacteristic. I've said that word a couple of times tonight. Jared Lum, such an experienced international. Plenty of time in Southeast Asia before returning home to Bonnyrigg during the COVID pandemic. It's not something you associate with him. Now, can he make amends here? Flicking it forward, but Paul read it and got there ahead of Gogshanchi. Kavanagh for Michel. To recover his own ball. It's a couple of half-hearted appeals for handball. Vicious off the shoulder here. It's got the wrong side of Nicholas, who certainly brought him down. Now, Simon Nicholas has been in trouble with referees all season. That's his fourth booking already. He's sent off once as well. He raises his arms in disgust, but the fact was he was behind Vischer. And if he made contact, there was only one decision for referee Logan Jones to make. First booking of the night goes the way of the Spirit left back, who statistically was one of the best in the league. He's struggled a little bit to find that form in 2024. After making the move from Apia Leica. Peter Keras, who's already enjoying a wonderful evening, looking to add an assist. Will he look to go direct and catch Marquez out? Goes for the deep ball. There was a flying Manly body in there. I think it was Rocco Pella who was closest to it. Didn't make contact. Svilagoy keeping the attack alive. And he's left-footed, so he won't mind this cross. Hit it too close to Chris Marquez. He read it all the way. This first half has absolutely flown by. Just under 10 minutes of regular time left to play. Willie Wigan darting inside off the right. Beautifully timed challenge from Pires brought the initial run to an end. Kavanagh keeping the attack alive though. Such a cultured ball player, and he was only a yard or two off finding his target there. Not to be, and perhaps the most worrying thing for Spirit is that since going behind, fluid attacks they were putting together before their goal have somewhat dissipated. As I mentioned a little earlier, 11th versus 12th going into the night. Spirit was set to move up towards the top half. It's Manley United looking to take that position just behind St George FC. Travel to Marconi tomorrow. Will be in touching distance by the time we only play them in a couple of weeks' time. Darko trying to change all that. After such a bright start, he's faded out of the game a little. And with him, some of Spirit's better play. A little bit of a change-up in the Spirit midfield tonight. Jake Chidiak, who's been so crucial to them over the start of this season, only on the bench tonight after signing from Rydal here in the off-season. Another youngster. Levi Kay launches that long. Kyle Shaw so often in the right position. His header only fell as far as Keras. Oh, Rossello with a bit of ingenuity. Keras with the simpler pass made a meal of it. Now Michel might be off the shoulder. Svilagoy bails out Aganovic, who might have overcommitted initially. Plays the ball out of play, but the danger is averted most importantly. Just joining us on the for New South Wales YouTube channel. Welcome to you. Spirit took the lead. Inside 10 minutes tonight through Manley Warringah Jr. Ollie Wigan. 2 goals from Peter Keras in the space of 4 minutes. Have given Manley the lead. His first 2 goals in the league for his new club after he made a move from Spirit to Manley during the off-season. Game full of storylines to this point. There are more brewing because Spirit are just starting to find their way back into their better patterns of play that we saw early in this match. Not quite there yet though, and still looking a bit vulnerable for on the counter. Only a set up to try and exploit them that way. Kavanagh's header only as far as Keras. His clearance was ungainly. Easily read by Shaw. Cornwall. Been moved out to right back by Perkovic. That's been an interesting move. He's been a centre half basically for his entire senior career. So speaks to a difference in the way that Perkovic is setting his side up. Now it was Kieran Paul diving into that one. We're 1 apiece in the referee's notebook now. Chanchi gave away the penalty which Keras converted for the equaliser. He's been causing a few headaches for the Manley United defence since his switch out to this near flank. So again, Kieran Paul has put himself into a bit of bother defending the 2 pacey young wingers that have been pitted against him by Perkovic tonight. So Jared Lum and his ball playing ability from these set pieces. That wasn't his best effort, and Kay pumped it into an area where he was always going to be favourite for the second ball. His release just had a little bit too much mustard on it for either Fulder or Keras to chase down. I'm looking to play conductor, but without much ahead of him. Seemed to be what he was indicating. So they go wide. Chanchi. Darko having to use his body, but Rossello has been so lively, and Vish has been a great partner for him. They have hunted in packs tonight, the Manley youngsters, and Spirit have struggled to deal with it at times. Gorgeous touch from Fulder. Paul's done his best work going forward tonight. Lum got a touch. Vish thought about keeping it in. Decides a corner is good enough. Manley will take their time, knowing a third goal here in the first half would make them heavy favourites. With be the first time that they'd scored 3 goals in the first half of a game this season, if they were to find another one before the break. The ball, Marquez flapped at it and made a brilliant recovering save. The deflection off Aganovic finds its way into the side netting. Logan Jones has spotted another touch before it went out of play, much to the chagrin of the Spirit players. And so we'll do it all again from the far side. Keras has made the long run over. Bodies crowd around Marquez. Aganovic was up, which is Perez did earlier in the night. I do wonder if they're seeing the ball properly in the lights. Fulda! Not quite a creative, well, as creative an effort as the one for his first goal last weekend. Certainly one of an opportunist, and it gave Marquez a little bit more than he was bargaining for from what looks like an initially fairly weak effort. Rangy figure of Shanchi, just loping in off the left. Akbash and Fulda coming together off the ball. Darko's not worried about that. He's searching for a yellow shirt in the middle. Pele showing off his athleticism, getting back there in defence. And Fisher snuck off the shoulder. He was well onside. And he's forced the Spirit defence to turn around and face their own goal again. Rossello. Fulda, whose touch betrayed him at the telling moment. Now some head tennis for you. Darko with the most space of anyone in the rally. Brings it down. Oh, but then Spirit just making a little bit of a muddle of it. They've not looked as calm and assured as they usually do, playing out from the back. And a lot of the credit must go to the Manly youngsters who have not allowed them the time and space to play comfortably. I think there's a free kick pin blown on that far side. Quite picked up what that was for. Spirit's not worried too much about that. Cornwall fires it in. Paul with the initial header. Spirit going to more agricultural means to try and find an equalizer before the break. Once again, they've got to be careful. They haven't left themselves open to a counter-attack. Kavanagh's challenge was firm but fair. Darko plays it wide. Shanchi again. Decent ball. Kavanagh with space. Left his feet to try and make contact. Darko's scrambling it forwards and handled in his attempts to control the football. Unsurprisingly, he disagrees. It's been a frustrating first half for Spirit FC. Took the lead, looks very much the better team, but Manly United have grown into the game, as they did last weekend against Sutherland, after trailing 1-0, now lead 2-1. Difference this week being it's all come before the break for them. As it was last week, 2 goals in quick succession. This time both from the foot of Peter Keras. Whether he'll be credited with the second goal is still to be debated after a big deflection which gave Manly United the 2-1 lead, which they'll take to the sheds. That was all after Ollie Wigan had opened the scoring for Spirit FC, who started the game fabulously well. It all faded away though. Peter Keras converting from the penalty spot after Chianchi handled right on the edge of the area. Is double followed, and so Manly United, who started the slower, have finished the faster as the two teams head up the tunnel at Cromer Park on this Friday night round 12 action from the NPL New South Wales men's. It's Manly United 2, Spirit FC 1. Welcome back to Cromer Park, the second half of this round 12 fixture between Manley United and Spirit FC, about to get underway. The kickoff to round 12. Manley United trailed 1-0 early to a strike from Ollie Wigan, former Manley Juniors' third goal of the season, giving Spirit the lead away from home. But 2 goals to Peter Keras, his first 2 for Manley United in the league, have given them a lead to half the game. Can they hang on? Can Spirit find their way back into it? That's the question we're asking as the second half kicks off. Manly going from right to left, Spirit from left to right in their yellow home strip. Manly, of course, in royal blue. No changes that we've spotted for either side coming out of the break either. Boasting very, very young benches tonight. Manly due to a bit of a crisis in terms of injuries, but looking for their second straight victory after the win over Sutherland by this scoreline last weekend down at Seymour Shore. A rather difficult time keeping it that way if Spirit get into full flight. But the problem for them was the fact that they were nowhere close to really that level after they went down a goal in the first half. Simon Nicholas is walking a tightrope, the Spirit left fullback, after being booked in the first half. The only Spirit player to go in the book, Manly United's captain, Kieran Paul, was the only player from the home side to find himself on the receiving end of a yellow card. Which has dropped a fair bit at half-time as well. It's starting to get rather chilly here at Cromer Park as we edge our way towards Windsor in the Harbour City. Great pleasure to have your company on the Football New South Wales YouTube page, wherever you're watching from around the world tonight. A very warm welcome. Alex Molchanoff taking you through this round 12 fixture. A reminder, Sydney FC taking on Sydney United 58 in the concurrent game tonight. Shunta Nakamura's goal inside 20 minutes has given United a 1-0 lead going into their break. An appeal for a penalty from the Manley United players. Stefan Vischer, who has just refused to give anything up all night. Pushing Pakmaj all the way back into his own area, where there were some suspicions he may have dragged down the Manley youngster. The referee disagreed with those assertions. Chachi, who fortunate to concede penalty kick after raising an arm in the penalty area from Keras' cross. Now he's striding into space down the same end, and that's a dangerous ball, but Ganovic read it all the way, stooping to clear, such as his height. He's looking a little ginger, making his way back out from the centre of defence. Uncompromising challenge from Pakmaj on Keras, searching for a hat-trick in the second half here. Ficianci really has looked the Spirit's most threatening since they fell behind. Darko slipping in the area. He tried to make himself available. Throw taken long. Michelle was presenting, and there are numbers there for Spirit if Darko can find it. Way to Ollie Wigan, and not for the first time around the edge of the Manley United defensive penalty area tonight. Richard Darko's pinged for a handball. David Perkovic done his best to keep his cool, but you feel the frustration building as he paces the edge of his technical area. Hasn't quite gone to plan since the opening 20 minutes. It's a Ganovic. Carry the ball into the attacking half. Michelle tracked him all the way, and then Hillier just had to throw it forward with that left foot. Last time, as a matter of fact, that Peter Keras scored twice in a game was back in a stint for Apia Leichhardt all the way back in 2021. He was on the score sheet twice in a 4-1 win over Mount Druitt Town Rangers. Wigan looking to step inside, turns it over. And Manly again looking to get forward on the break. Didn't quite have the numbers to get forward and support Stefano Rossello there. Manly United's press has been a little more considered since they took the lead, but there's still plenty of energy and vibrancy amongst their front four. Being urged forward by a healthy crowd here tonight at Cromer Park. Marco beautifully timed for Lum, who felt the studs of pellet on top of his foot, brought him to ground. It was a decision for referee Jones. Keras knocking the ball back to his old coach. Wasn't best pleased. Just starting to ramp up the pressure on the referees coming from their technical area as they chase this game. Very little margin that they can find counts. Nice touch from Kavanagh for Richard Darko, who's in plenty of space here and sums it up for Wigan. Great save by Kay. Keeps his side ahead. And it was a terrific covering save for the Manly number one, but Ollie Wigan will feel that he might have done much, much better with that opportunity. To him almost on the penalty spot. A nice bit of vision from Richard Darko to pick him out. Spirits pressure building. Nice long ball. Oh, was it? Grant Cornwall ends up a handed apology. It's been good to see him get a good run in first grade, and he's been at this club since under 14s. Captaining the side, age 33, after missing their first season in the top flight with, it was a tragic ACL injury, really. Robbed him of what he'd earned, although he did manage to lift the Waratah Cup. Richard Darko managing to cut in on that favoured left foot, and he's made a habit of going back across goalkeepers. Levi Kay was alive to that possibility. Manly are going to try and play out from their own half. Well, Svilagoy quickly dissuaded every one of those notions and just docked it long into the channel. This is how Manly held out last week against Sutherland, although, as we said, the second goal came rather later, well into the second half. They were disciplined defensively, which is a nice change, really, from what they've been in the early part of the season. Really, what they've shown attacking in, defending in their forward half has been most impressive. It's been Keras, which is a speculative effort. Looking to hit that with topspin that keeps it down towards the goal. Didn't catch it as he was looking to, so it flies well and truly past Chris Marquez's goal. Keller stepping onto it. He's been terrific again at left full back tonight. Flicking it forward for Marcelo, just has a little too much of it. Kyle Shaw there to sweep up. Janovic with a thumping header forward. Lum a bit of a mess of his attempted clearance. As well that ends well though. You feel Jared Lum's having the best time he's ever had on a football pitch out there tonight. To say he can't come up with a moment of quality. He's going to try and look to do that with his ball play. Ball forward for Vischer. It's just been tireless up front today for Manley United. On his return to the starting side. Substitutions available for both teams. Haven't got you them yet. Mentioned it's a young bench for Patrick Svanswijk, who is able to call on Corey Cronin again today. Another one of those youngsters that have been out with injury. Jay Coates is a reserve goalkeeper. He has been all season. Number 24, Toby Bakewell, could make his debut tonight. The 2021 Lucas Neal Medal winner for the best junior at the club. try to make something of this, Manly, but it all amounts to naught. Max Pengilly, wearing number 37, number 38, Mitch Seaman, the 17-year-old, number 42, Max Walker. Free kick goes Manly's way for a raised arm. Straight away, referee Jones is calling for the Medicos, and Corey Kavanagh didn't look overly surprised about what was coming his way. Don't want to venture into that sort of cliche, but it is true that Corey Kavanagh is not really one of those type of players. Certainly looked inadvertent. Not to say he's one to shirk a challenge, certainly not, but to get involved in unfortunate high arms and things of that nature too often. In fact, that is his first yellow card of the season. Back in the midfield today, I mentioned it a couple of times, that he's part of a makeshift back four last weekend with Buckmarsh out. In fact, this is first time Pedante Buckmarsh has been in the side since the game against Hills United in the middle of April, a couple of weeks ago. Say of his character that he's the opposite, but 6 yellow cards already to this point in the season, just the 8 games played. Tells a rather different story to the one that Kavanagh's statistic there does. Didn't see too much of him in the second half, the experienced campaigner. Chanchi twisting and turning out of trouble. Since they've gone behind, Spirit has probably been their most impressive. It's Jared Lum. Long-time Hong Kong resident, professional footballing career. Just dinked that one over the top for Ollie Wiggin. To use his pace, he's managed to work a yard. That's a dangerous, swerving ball into the Manley United penalty box. Well dealt with by Aganovich. Nicholas keeps the attack alive. Chanchi is onside, says Chabal Geha. He assisted on the near side. Darko, so crafty with that left foot, and he almost dropped that on a dime for Wigan, whose control let him down at the vital moment. All banging it long the other way. Vischer made something of it in his challenge with Shaw. Clever piece of play from Nicholas just to find his goalkeeper. Still Sydney United hanging on to that 1-0 lead. The Illingdon Sports Centre against Sydney FC. Just over an hour into that one. Paul to adjust his body shape to get a foot on that one. Really able to force it forward in any meaningful manner. So Kavanagh trying to duck through players. And then Wigan with a wild swing at Hillier. Just pulling out might have saved him a little bit of bother. That ball over the top is going to be a test for Marquez. It's helped out by Nicholas, who, well, was clever in getting his body across in front of Vischer. Spirit bench engaging in a conversation with the fourth official, James Macris, which has taken up most of the first half, the second half so far. We'll tick towards the hour mark in this game. This time Vischer was a little over enthused in his efforts to try and win the ball back so close to his attacking goal. Still looking for his first goal of the season in first grade, Stefan Vischer. Part of Manly's under-20s team at the start of the year. They've started this season on absolute fire. Just a 5-0 win tonight in the game preceding this one. Ganovich is having some sort of second half. He's not let the ball get past him. And Hillier, who has managed to draw Spirit players into challenges that have been adjudged fouls more often than not in this second half. That is getting under the skin of David Perkovic. Rocco Pellet just smile like an opposition coach as he makes his way past. Long clearance from Kay. Easy win for Cornwall in the air. Keller getting right above Darko and then hanging on to him as he came down. Waited to see if there was an advantage. Now, I think he might have got some help from James Macris there, his fourth official, who was positioned right alongside where that incident took place. Darko's a mild-mannered individual, but had every right to be up in arms about whatever Pellet had tried to do to him there. It's almost like some sort of WWE wrestling move as he came down. Not sure whether it was inadvertent or not. Either way, Darko felt the effects and wasn't too happy. United have won it back though, and Peter Keras, who's full of confidence, ducking inside Cornwall. Marcelo's got all sorts of space, only palm back to Vischer, and a double save. It's miraculous from Marquez. Probably not his sharpest effort from the initial attempt, but the recovery was superb. Vischer saw the goal at his mercy, and suddenly the goalkeeper was there to gobble up the room he thought he had. And if not for Chris Marquez tonight, Spirit might be 3 or 4 down. Been a very good performance from the Spirit number 1. He's got another bit of defending to do here. Keras with another dangerous ball, and this one's found its way in. It's Jesse Perez claiming it. He was the one launching himself across the ball at the front post. Rocco Pella's involved in the celebration as well. They'll clear it up between the two of them. Manly don't care. They've got a 2-goal buffer. Another brilliant ball in from Keras, who's been so dangerous for those dead ball situations all night. And Manly's pressure pays. First substitution made by Spirit. We thought it might come soon. And it's Scianci. Well, that's perhaps a little bit of a surprise considering how dangerous he has been. There were certainly a couple of touches in there. Just watching the replay. Still can't really tell. We're going to give it to Jesse Perez for now. His first goal of the season. It was well celebrated. It's the second goal, I think, as well, that's taken a touch off a Spirit player on the way past Chris Marquez. So unfortunate after making such a good save initially. Unfortunately, that's led to the corner from a Spirit perspective. They trail 3-1. Well, this was the scoreline when Manly went to Christie Park in the first meeting between these two in the league last season. And managed to get the results. History set to repeat itself as things stand here at Cromer Park with just under half an hour to play. Ollie Wigan, so prominent early, is faded out, but that's a gorgeous touch to get him into the area and past Pella. Cross was cut out by Alan Aganovich. He's been in the way of everything in the second half. Keras getting back, but fouling his opposite number. Darko going to ground, not for the first time in this second half. Under an uncompromising challenge, shall we call it, from a Manly United player. And so another free kick. Spirit have got a little bit of a reputation in the last couple of years as the comeback kings of this competition. Most of those have been at home, but there's certainly a chance to come back here. We've not been counting them out yet. On this ball in, it's reached Cornwall at the back post. Hasn't scored since an Australian Cup tie against the Peninsula Power in late 2022. It's been a long wait for the Spirit captain. It goes on. Quite able to... Oh, now! This is a decision you do not see too often. Levi Kay blown up by the referee for holding onto the football for longer than 6 seconds. Goodness me. Well, he can count himself a little unlucky, the Manley United goalkeeper, but that is the rule. And particularly when you lead in a game, referees do look out for it. It's not one you see often, but it'll be an indirect free kick for Spirit. Almost from direct free kick range, really. It's right at the edge of the penalty area. So the ball must be touched before Spirit can get a shot away. So a committee forms around how they're going to execute this. This is not something teams work on too often at training, because it's such a rarity that it actually shows up in a game situation. It has here. 5 in the wall for Levi K. Poised to run out as soon as it's touched, which it does, and Michelle smashes it straight into Kieran Paul, leading from the front of that closing blockade. And Kay's mistake, I'll put that in quotation marks, doesn't draw any real consequence. They just not averted for Manly. They got a long throw from Lum to defend. He didn't quite get the distance on that he would have liked. Lobbed back towards Lum by Wigan. Keeps it in play, face to face with Paul. Another substitute, Chidiak. On and lively, and looking for Michelle again. It was a Gunovic. In fact, Svilagoy getting across there. Insistent that it wasn't he who had the last touch, but certainly from our view, it looked as though he was. And referee Logan Jones agreed. First sub might be coming from Manley United here. It's as though Corey Cronin is going to see his first bit of game time in a couple of weeks. Lofted ball towards Chidiak, and then just belted behind by Vischer to time it. That's more difficult than it looks, volleying a football coming over your shoulder like that. Result is the same. Perkovic and Patrick Zvansvik are sharing a laugh. I'm not quite sure what about. Darko floats that one in, and Kay claims to put an end to the danger that you could argue he had a part in creating.
Flash goes around the grounds. There has been a goal at Element Sportsfield. Sydney FC 0, Sydney United 2.
So the said Spirit's task was a tall one, trailing into the break. Manly's defensive discipline has been more and more impressive as this season has worn on. Might be about to get its sternest test yet, although Spirit have not asked questions. I'm sure that David Perkovic would have liked them to. And now this is a moment in itself. Michael Conesavo, who has missed the majority of the start of this season with injury, makes his return. So a nice moment for Spirit fans. Long-time Spirit player. A key part of the promotion campaign a couple of seasons ago. Was riddled by injuries last year. Good to see him back on the pitch. Spirit will be hoping he can make an immediate impact with his pace, and he's using his energy to get his first touch, chasing down Kieran Paul, and with the help of Jake Chidiak, he's got them going back forwards. A nice weapon for David Perkovic to have off the bench on a night when he needs some attacking impetus as the clock winds away. Winning the initial header. Darko reels in the second ball. Looking for Conesavo. Ball read it all the way. Kavanagh. His strike was affected. Here's the handball by Spirit. They've got the ball back in any case. Darko again. And then his ball was left short. Well read by Stefano Rossello. He was an attacking player. His defence is often as valuable. Now Richard Darko goes into the book. Well, the cynical pullback on Saxon Hillier has put in another sterling performance in the middle of Manly's midfield this evening, particularly in the second half. They've had a little bit more of a backs to the wall job to do. Such a technically gifted player, Saxon Hillier, but and his grit and determination that have stood him out at this level since he became a regular feature of Patrick Zwanswijk's first team last season. Still just 19 years of age. Launched forward by Levi Kay. Vischer was doing his best to keep that one in. Have to admire the enthusiasm of Stefan Vischer. A striker any coach would like to deploy, and that he just doesn't give anything up. Zwanswijk is poised to make a couple of changes. I mentioned Corey Cronin. It's as though Max Walker is going to be introduced as well. In fact, it's the other Max, Pengeli. The identifiable curly mop. 19-year-old making his third first-team appearance. Corey Cronin, after a couple of weeks out with injury, makes his return to the pitch as well. Vischer has well and truly emptied the tank. It's a slightly defensive move by Zwanswijk. Attacking player taken off the two players who will likely sit in front of the midfield. Looks as though Fulder's going to be to almost partner Stefano Rossello up front. In fact, Rossello's been one of those removed. He was the second after Vischer, so it's a new strike pairing. Fulder and Keras moving into the middle. Cronin out to the left ahead of Rockefeller. Max Pengeli flanking Keras and Saxon Hillier through the middle off the right. I'm assuming he'll be staying rather narrowed out as Manly look to defend this 3-1 lead. 2 goals before the break to Peter Keras, the second from the penalty spot. Well, the first from the penalty spot, sorry. The second deflected just inside the area before Jesse Pires got his first of the season. Peter taking a deflection from a corner. Almost slipping as he looked to turn past Cornwall. Quite an age gap between those two. Cornwall, who's been at Spirit for the best part of 30 years now, was at the club before Cronin was born. Ball was launched in and then cleared away. Again at the back from Spirit. It really has not been their tidiest performance with the football. Fourth ball forwards. Clever from Will Fulder, who's shown intelligence of a player with far much more experience at this level over his first couple of games. Handful of games now. This is third appearance, second start. Manley United will take their time over this set piece. Fair way out from goal. It would take something special to beat Marquez from that distance. So Keras goes short. Fulder. Well, it was a shot come cross or vice versa. Trickles out for a goal kick in the end. David Perkovic playing ball boy now. So he wants to eke every second available to his side off this clock. I'm no longer their friend. They did lead tonight early, inside 10 minutes in fact, through Ollie Wigan. Good period for a short moment after that, but it's mostly been Manly's traffic going forward since then. Michelle runs into the firm figure of Ivanovic again. He's barely been able to escape his attention all evening. Spirit are crafty from these situations, though. What can they muster from this long throw? Taken by Cornwall. Didn't beat Cronin. Pitch forward by Nicholas. Wants to pick out Darko. Pella just reacted a little bit quicker. Cornwall with a heavy challenge on Fulder. Challenges are really starting to fly in now. Still nothing doing, says referee Jones. He wants to play advantage because Spirit have the ball. Hillier with a flying block. Air swing almost from Pella. Cornwall very clever to beat Fulda. This is better from Spirit. Almost enlivened by the physicality of the last couple of minutes. Darko for Nicholas. Furthest forward we've seen him. And the ball rolls up and strikes Kieran Paul. Who asks what more he could have done. Probably had a point, but the fact was that his arm was well and truly away from his body. The ball struck it. Referees nowadays always going to give that decision. Despite the arguments from the Manley United bench. Note as well that Paul is the only Manley United player in the referee's notebook tonight. Shell over the football. Never headed towards the goal. It draws some ironic cheers from the supporters on the Levi K side of the Lucas Neal stand, shall we call it that? David Perkovic wants to make a sub. Anyone standing particularly close to the fourth official. Curled in behind, and Marsh had to be watchful. She was. Darko looking to get into the channels. He's just not been able to escape the attentions of young Roccapella in this second half. And now play is stopped for Spirit to bring on a sub. It's Luis Lobo, the Brazilian. Second season with the club. The signing from Hakoa. Not a happy return for Jesse Michel. Round where he played quite a bit of his junior football. Luis Lobo played his rather far away, hoping that he can give them a spark that leads to some sort of comeback here. Lobo's first touch is to belt it over to Conestabo, his first sub. A couple of Manly players in pursuit. Beautifully timed challenge from Pella. Oh, and now there was some afters there. Conestabo felt he was being antagonised by Cronin. Not much ado about nothing in the end, really. Quite sure who was to blame for getting all that started. Neither was backing down. Spirit have the resulting corner. It's a dangerous one, and Chidiac got his head on the ball as well. And his head goes straight to his hands because he knows what a good opportunity it was. Couldn't force a save from Levi K. Just a warning shot for Manly. It looks pretty comfortable throughout this second half. Can't afford to switch off just yet. Spirit getting a second wind late in this second half. A couple of players slipping and sliding down there. If the dew is setting in on the artificial turf. Lobo. All the tricks and flicks, but the boys had to know when to use them. Shaw for Nicholas. Manly in what now is essentially a back five with Cronin dropping to flank Roccapella on the left. Darko drifting and flitting in and out of positions. You see the two combining there to take Ollie Wigan out of the game. And Cronin's fresh legs will carry the ball out of trouble. Didn't have the pass that he was looking for in his feet, though. Nicholas again. After start so many of Spirit's attacks, Chidiac had wandered into an offside position. So Manly take their time. It's been a while since they've won here. Since their second win of the season last weekend against Sutherland. About to pick up number 3 here. They're first at home since the opening day. Well, they have had a couple of draws here since then against Blacktown City and Rockdale Illingdon. Two of the teams expected to be challenging for silverware at the end of the season, so they should not be scoffed at, those results. A couple of losses here since then as well. This is a much-needed victory. The time in the season when they're still waiting for a lot of the first team to come back from injury. They've been able to claim 2 wins in a row, and certainly that's not locked away quite yet. 10 minutes plus whatever's to be added on here at Cromer. But they're the heavy favourites. We'll be looking forward to next week's away trip at Penshurst Park, which will be another step up in level again for Patrick Svanswijk's youngsters. They'll have a keen eye on their game against Hills United tomorrow night at Landon Stadium. Kicking off at 7 o'clock, along with Marconi's clash with St George FC. Exciting couple of weeks coming up for that club as well. St George to have the reopening of Barton Park. That's a very dangerous ball, and the second handball of the night. This time it's Filagoy, the guilty party, and Spirit are going to have that very narrow ray of sunshine through the door back into this game, maybe thrust open a little bit wider. Just as Keras was putting together quite a few dangerous balls into Spirit's box in the first half before the penalty, Spirit have mounted quite a few raids of their own, very similar in nature, and now it's their experienced number 7 who steps up, Richard Darko. Such a well-known name in this competition, well loved by Spirit supporters. Face to face with Levi Kay, and he got a touch to it, the Manly goalkeeper, but couldn't keep it out. Spirit still alive.
Manley United 3, Northwest Sydney Spirit 2.
Said Manley United could not afford to rest on their laurels. Well, Richard Darko has made that statement ring true. More subs coming for Manley United. And the tension at Manly's home ground of Cromer Park has suddenly just ramped up another notch. Filagoy once of bothering, once battling against this Spirit side to get out of League One and into this division. He wasn't able to win promotion, but has found his way out through the consistency of his individual performances. Moments he'd rather have back. And still there is time for Spirit to chase this game. Suddenly those questions about Manly United's defence are just going to be asked again. Chidiak did his best to get that ball in play, but couldn't. One more sub coming for Manly.
Number 29, William Folder. And coming
on
the field is number 38, Mitchell Seaman.
No second goal in 2 games for him, but another tidy night's work. Young Mitch Seaman. Hills Region Junior, shy of his 18th birthday. Makes his way onto the pitch. Just to lower Manly United's average age of their 11 even more. Marsh launching the ball up in the air. Filagoy practical. And Pengilly going down under the challenge of Buckmarsh. What was I saying earlier about his record of bookings? That's 7 this season in his 9th appearance. red card amongst all that as well. His reputation as an uncompromising defender is well earned. Certainly Max Pengelly will understand why when he wakes up tomorrow with that big lump on his ankle. Keras a little excited. That's a little discipline sneaking in from one of Manly's more senior men. Hella has played with the cool head of a man years his senior this evening. Luis Lobo ducking in, just sticking out an arm to try and control. And spotted by referee Jones, and Manley United will continue to eat time off the clock. Tension continuing to rise in the Lucas Neal stand. The fans can sense a second straight victory. First at Cromer for a couple of months. Well, players looking as though they're out on their feet though. Just got to stand up for another 5 minutes or so. The Spirit, hope that gives them a second win. Pella playing it forward. Characteristically classy touch from Hillier, but Seaman's boot was high. Perkovic calling for his side to move the ball quickly as they chase this game. There should be no surprises about that. Cornwell looking for Lobo, had it nicked off his toe by Hillier. Twisting out of trouble was Seaman, who did that very nicely. Paul. Seaman's continued his run forward if he can pick him out. Does now. It's Mitchell Seaman down the right. Oh, it wasn't a bad ball either. Still there for Pengelly. Nicholas turning out of trouble. It's a late challenge from Max Pengelly. Free kick blown by the referee though. Spirit still have the football. Nicholas hoists it clear. Pengelly and him come together again. This time it's Buckmarsh turning out of trouble. For Lobo. And the experienced campaigners for Spirit. Just give them some inspiration late. Gunnovic swore to the referee that he'd timed his challenge. The ref was right on the spot. Through the back of Wigan. Providing Spirit another chance from this set piece. Boy, this has got tense. It's been thrilling viewing the whole way through. Sydney United looking set to take that game down at the Illington Sports Centre. They lead 2-0 in stoppage time. Darko to play this one short. Space for Lobo. Wants to get on his right, goes back for Darko. Chip ball sat up. Wigan through a crowd of bodies, and it fell for Aganovic, much to the relief of the Manly faithful here at Cromer. Kavanagh back to recycle. It's Filagoy where he loves to be, in the air, winning balls hoisted into his half. All the Manly players behind the ball now though. Delicate ball, there was a coming together on the edge of the area, which referee Jones waved away very quickly. He has his hand to his watch now, signalling that whatever time is taken up here to check on the well-being of Dax Filagoy will be added on. Reminder of the games we've got coming up over the next couple of days in the NPL New South Wales men's. I mentioned them tonight. Saturday, 7 p.m, 2 kickoffs. Marconi taking on St George FC. Hills taking on St George City. Before Sunday at 3 p.m, we've got a quartet of games. Sydney Olympic hosting Blacktown City. Rockdale Illington hosting the Wollongong Wolves. And will be a tasty encounter, no doubt. Clash between two of the top three when Western Sydney Wanderers host Apia Leichhardt at the Wanderers Football Park, and Central Coast Mariners hosting the Sutherland Sharks in a relegation pointer as well. So action aplenty at both ends of the table over the next few days. As I mentioned across the broadcast, a very happy Anzac Day from all of us at Football New South Wales for yesterday. You paid your respects in you see fit. Fantastic day for us Australians.
Substitution for your Manley United FC making his way from the field is number 6.
I believe this is the final substitution, it's the final stoppage, certainly. So it is for Patrick Vanswijk. Max Morker will make his third substitute appearance in a row. Saxon Hillier, classy as ever. And he's growing in stature from week to week in the heart of Manly's midfield. A switch of play, ball cut out by Cornwall. His first touch, and turns it over high up the pitch. Buckmarsh carrying it forward the other way. Chidiac trying to play with his back to goal. That was a beautifully timed challenge from Pella. And now Keras has got his second wind. He's beaten a couple. How's his options? Not too bad. He's won inside a corner. Peter Keras has just faded out of this game in the second half, but it's his 2 goals at the moment that are going to be the difference. Just bursting into life late to try and see out this victory for Manly. It's a line of bodies, knowing the ball is going to go short from Manly United. They took up a good couple of minutes down here against Sutherland last weekend. They've had less luck against Spirit. Shaw for Nicholas. Last chance saloon for Spirit. Lobo. A couple of youngsters going in, and then Lobo getting tangled up with Seaman. Seem to be fair-spirited, although Seaman is still demonstrating with the referee. In fact, it wasn't Seaman, it was Pengelly over there. For the first time he's been involved in a physical encounter. Vanswijk is not completely satisfied with the positioning of his defenders. Long throw coming again from Grant Cornwall. In fact, this time it was Nicholas. Bodies flying everywhere. Shaw knocks it back for Cornwall now. One leaping was Shaw up from the back. Only has 1 goal in first grade across his young career. And Kay's going to release this one rather quickly, you'd expect, after being pinged for holding onto it for longer than 6 seconds about half an hour ago. Gelly can't chase down the long ball.
Sydney FC 0, Sydney United 2.
Shaw. Time running out for Spirit. Onestavo sits Keras down. Man who was signed as injury cover for him last season. Nicholas delivering with his left foot. There's a crowd of yellow bodies there. The telling touch was Walker's. Out for another Spirit throw. Wave after wave of Spirit attack in this last 10 minutes or so has been seen off. Flicked on by Shaw. Keras, who's hardly been sighted in this second half after scoring the goal, does the clearing. His voice has been as important as any through the middle of the park. Kess, as the lights go out at Cromer. Saw this a couple of times last season. Thought the issue had been fixed, and now this could cause some controversy if they can't get them back on, because Spirit will be wanting every second that is allowed them, and there's still a minute or so left to be added on here. It's a very different situation when this happened last season. I'm trying to remember the game exactly. But Manley
Ladies and gentlemen, give us a few moments. We'll
had
how to get the power back on.
Manley had a happy leader or were trailing comfortably. To go back through the archives. If you're watching and you remember, shoot me a text about which game that was. The players are milling about. They bring you the final score from the other game tonight. Sydney FC have gone down 2-0 to Sydney United 58 at the Illington Sports Centre. Shunta Nakamura's early goal added on by a second late in that second half before Zach de Jesus was sent off with 15 minutes to play. And a flurry of red cards so far in the NPL New South Wales men's so far this season. So there is a Manly official on the field. Not sure if he is aware of where the light switch is, but we're getting this all sorted out. Spirit will not be leaving here without assurances that they'll get the minute or so they had to chase this game, because this could be quite a critical one for both teams' season. A season-shaping one, if you like, over the course. Manly United, if they hold on, which it looks highly likely they will. And this Manly official is now getting into a heated exchange with one of the Spirit players, so I'm not quite sure what all that's about. So we'll update you as soon as we have the news here at Cromer Park. Just getting some text messages about Manly United forgetting to pay the bills. I don't think that's the case. At the moment, we've just got a quite picturesque scene with the far post lit up on the far side. Alex Molchanoff with you on the Football New South Wales YouTube page, live streaming the last moments of this action. We're expecting another minute or so of stoppage time in the second half. Manly United leading this game 3-2. Spirit had taken the lead in the first half through Ollie Wigan. 2 goals before the break for Peter Keras, and then one after it to Jesse Pires to put Manly 3-1 up. A second penalty of the night, this time converted by Richard Darko for Northwest Sydney Spirit. Had got the away side back into this match, and they were pushing forward looking for an equalizer when the lights went out. Still we wait. A gathering of players and officials. And a reminder, in that other game tonight, Sydney United 58, 2-0 winners over Sydney FC. I guess I can tell you what's coming up for both these teams after this weekend. Manly United travelling to St George City on Saturday night at 7:15 p.m. that kickoff. They host Sydney United 58 and the Wollongong Wolves over the couple of weeks after that. It would be unfortunate if we're not able to see out whatever was added on to the end of this match, because it literally will be 2 or 3 minutes. That was the extent of stoppage time that was left to be played. Can see the Manly United CEO David Mason down there now, talking to the referees. Spirit have got an Australia Cup tie coming up this week as well against Dulwich Hill of League One. Will be a fixture they're looking forward to as well. So there's minimal time with which to reschedule these games at the moment as well. The officials are together in conversation. Logan Jones with Charbel Geha and Thomas Dale, his assistants. James Macris, who's been at the centre of a bit in the second half as the fourth official, with particularly the Spirit bench taking umbrage with a couple of the decisions. Alan Aganovic is finding the funny side of it all. He's had a sterling night at the back in terms of Manly performances. Zach Svilagui handling for the penalty which got Spirit back into this game, but before that had hardly put a foot wrong alongside his defensive partner. Kieran Paul, after a difficult first half or so, have managed to come back into it. Patrick Zvansvik and David Perkovic are now getting an explanation from both of the referees. It really doesn't look as though we're going to have lighting back here anytime soon. But I think the longer and longer this goes on, the less and less likely that we are going to restart the game here. All might be hanging in the balance, because I'm sure Spirit will not be happy just to let this rest, because Manly made sure that they ate every minute they were allowed off the clock. Why wouldn't they? Holding a 3-1 and then a 3-2 lead. And certainly as the hosts, it's their responsibility to provide the lighting. So how this all unfolds is still to be discussed. Nothing getting particularly heated to this point. Told you what Manly are up to. I've told you that Spirit got a cup game in midweek against Dulwich Hill. They're travelling to Blacktown and the Landon Stadium away from home next weekend. It's going to be a Saturday 7 p.m. kickoff. They then have a home game against the Wollongong Wolves, and then RPL Leichhardt visiting Christie Park as well over the next couple of weekends on Saturday afternoons. Plenty of phones being held to ears. So that David Mason, the CEO, was down there. I can see a couple of other Manly United officials high up in the board down there. Chairman Ray Fanning is down there. He's an amicable fella. Stop you for a chat about his football team any day. He's down there having a discussion with the officials. The update we've just been given by the ground announcer Anthony Caruso is that we are at the moment planning to hang around and get the last minute or so of this game played. It's going to be an interesting one for the players. It's certainly for Manly United if we are able to get back underway. And it seems there has been sign of lights. Or are the players going to continue in the pitch black? That's going to be fun for us. Goodness me. The lights have returned. So, just starting to warm up. We're going to have the last minute or so of this game. Quite extraordinary scenes here at Cromer. Not something you see too often. But credit to all the Manly officials. They have managed to get the lights back on, which means we're going to get a result. Having to all regather here for a minute or two of football. And you have to say, this puts the advantage firmly in Spirit hands, because they're the ones who haven't had the break-up in patience, haven't had the break-up in game plan. Here we go. Quite how much time we'll see here is anybody's guess. We were a couple of minutes into stoppage time when the lights went out. We will need to wait for the lights to reach their full spec before we can restart. So James Macris just holding the football. Everyone waiting with bated breath. A drop ball to restart things from almost right on halfway. Football New South Wales official down there as well, speaking with the fourth official. Lights not quite back to full strength, as you can see on your pictures there. In fact, the pictures we're seeing here, that you're seeing at home, actually might be a little bit brighter than we're getting at the ground. Light is there, but certainly not at the level it was before they went out. I'm sure that's what the discussion is going to be. Dave Mason is the CEO of Manley United. You can see having a conversation with Logan Jones down there. David Perkovic waiting until he thinks the lights are set. Goodness me. Credit to both clubs for keeping their cool amongst all this. Be some other places you'd see tempers fray a little. Okay, here we go. We've got enough lights and we're back on. Expecting about a minute or two. Not long for Spirit to try and find this equaliser. Goodness me, what a time for play to stop. Cornwall was late with his challenge on Paul. Pengelly there to clear. Marquez waiting until the last moment to claim the ball as Keras bore down on him. Kavanagh was off balance as he played that ball forward. Seaman was over and couldn't keep the ball in play. Right on the line. The referee's under scrutiny for every decision now. Cornwall goes long again. Shaw's the target with all these throws now with his height. Lobbed in by Wigan, who got the scoring started this evening. Launched back in by Nicholas. Cornwall Tedder. And diving out was Kieran Paul. A captain's challenge at the back. And still he chases. Couldn't quite get there. Cool head from Marquez. Darko's ball forward. Nodded on by Chidiac. Rocco Pella's gone down as though he felt contact. There was an audible scream from the 19-year-old as he fell to the turf. So Pella, his well-being is the worry quite at the moment. He really went down with a yelp, and I'm not saying it was anything comparable to the scenes we saw last year with Max Martinello, but it must have been on the minds of a couple. Just was the volume of the scream of the 19-year-old. He's back on his feet without worry. Might have been a yelp to try and win a free kick more than anything. Now, he has received treatment, so he will have to go off here. I don't think a foul was even blown by Logan Jones. No, it wasn't. So just receiving word from from Manley United that they're blaming the Northern Beaches Council for the outage. We had Ray Fanning up in the box to tell us that the lights had gone out due to the council failing to adjust for daylight savings, of all things. Goodness me. Lights back on. What is the decision? The referee's right at the centre of everything with the lights, and now this decision with Pella is going to be a drop ball right on halfway, almost exactly where we restarted after the stoppage for the lighting outage. Nicholas knocks it forward. There's space here for Contestabo, of all people. And he was looking for a yellow shirt. All he could find was Aganovic, and Logan Jones's final whistle finally goes. It was delayed and delayed and delayed, but Manly United hung on. Had to come from behind in the first half. Ollie Wigan opened the scoring for Spirit, but then two goals from Peter Keras, the first from the penalty spot and the second via a deflection. His first two in Manly United colours gave them the lead. A third added by Jesse Perez after the break. Richie Darko's penalty with just over 10 minutes to go gave Spirit some life going into the game late. A light outage, some more madness in stoppage time. But Manly have their second straight win with so many outs. A very impressive effort from Patrick Svanswijk's side. Back to the drawing board for David Perkovic ahead of their trip to Blacktown City next weekend. They can take heart with the performance they put in chasing the game. Unlucky to come away with nothing tonight. Ultimately, a very entertaining 90 minutes plus quite a bit of stoppage time tonight. But signing off from Cromer Park for Football New South Wales, it's finished here. Manly United 3, Spirit FC 2.